Hi everyone. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be truly free and in control of your life? Do you crave a simpler existence but don't know where to begin to achieve it? Maybe you already have your own vegetable garden and you're looking to take on the next challenge. Well, I may have the solution for you. My name is Dan, and today I'm going to talk about basic chicken care. I'm going to talk about which chickens to get, how they like to live, and what they eat. Before getting started on raising your own chickens, make sure that you check your local codes and restrictions to make sure that it's legal for you to raise them. After you've done that, make sure that you check in with your neighbours to make sure they don't have a problem with you having and raising your own chickens, especially if you're going to have roosters in your flock. Roosters can get very noisy. Now that we're through the disclaimers, we can start to talk about which chickens to get. I tend to break chickens into three different categories. There are pet chickens, meat chickens, and egg-laying chickens. Pet chickens are normally the smaller variety of bird and lay smaller eggs. This is an egg from a smaller variety bantam chicken, and this is the egg from a regular chicken. As you can see, the egg from the regular chicken is about 3 times the size of the smaller pet chicken egg. So obviously that wouldn't make a very good omelette. The second kind of chicken is the meat chicken. And while you might think that birds that grow fast might be more efficient at laying eggs, meat chickens are designed for fast growth, and as such they tend to die a lot quicker, and otherwise they become overweight and don't end up being healthy. So meat chickens aren't the right chickens for laying eggs. And then third, you have your species that are bred for laying eggs. And these have been crossbred over the years to be the most effective and most productive egg-laying chickens. For every dollar of food that you put into your average chicken, you can get about $4 of eggs back out of them. So they actually tend to be quite cost effective and can pay for themselves if done correctly. If they're not very healthy and they don't lay as often, then the ratio ends up a bit skewed and you may end up not making any money on them, but this is a hobby, so I'm not too worried about that anyway at this point. Where chickens like to live? Well, I live in a colder climate, so I tend to have 2 different areas in which my chickens live. In the summertime, I have a smaller coop and an outdoor run where my chickens live. In the winter time, I have a much larger barn in which they pretty much stay stuck in there the whole winter. The average chicken needs about 4 square feet inside the roost and about 8 square feet each outside the roost. So when you are trying to plan to have your chickens, make sure that you are accounting for the amount of space that you're going to need for them. In the winter time, in an area where I am, where you get lots of snow, you need to have a very large area for them to keep them happy. Also in colder climates, you may want to consider using a heat lamp. I have one here. This is the kind of heat lamp that I use. It costs about $15 from my local Walmart store. And that is used with a heat bulb, which run about 250 watts. These are actually about $5, so that heating solution in all costs about $20 for the items. But as you might imagine, 250 watts an hour can get very expensive, so you need to be making sure that whatever area you have your chickens, that you keep it well insulated. If you don't live in a colder climate, it's not so much of a concern for you, but in colder climates certainly you need to make sure that your chickens are in an environment where their water doesn't freeze. Also in the area that the chickens need to live in, they tend to like to have 2 different places in which they get cozy. The first are perches or roosts, and chickens will tend to sit on these during the day and sleep on them at night. Well, I guess I should say they sit on them. The average bird needs about 6 to 10 inches on a roost, so you need to factor that in when you're planning your design for the area you're going to keep them in. And then your chickens also like to have nesting boxes in which to lay their eggs. A good dimension, a rule of thumb for nesting boxes is about 12 inches cubed all the way around. That should allow for plenty of space for your chickens to get comfortable and feel safe in laying their eggs. The last thing we need to talk about is what you're going to feed your chickens. The chicken's diet tends to consist of 3 main things for most chicken farmers anyway. Some people tend to feed their chickens table scraps, which is generally speaking okay for them. However, it's hard to manage a balanced diet when you're not managing what foods are going into it. So table scraps I don't really feel are the best solution. As you can see from this image here, I feed my chickens 3 main components: grit, cracked corn, and chicken feed. The grit in a chicken's diet is used to assist actual digestion. If you can think of the grit as being used like the teeth on a human for food, the grit helps break down the food. The corn that's used in this chicken's diet is, I guess it's classed as 2 things. It counts towards grain and it counts as scratch. Grain is useful for getting energy for the chicken to help keep them warm in the winter time. The scratch is more really for entertainment. They tend to knock it around the ground and play with it. Scratch can also be mixed in with chicken feed. Now, me as a chicken farmer, I tend to prefer using feed to provide nutrients for my chickens because they are much more accurately formulated to the needs of what animal you have. Chicken feed for baby chicks, for example, can be medicated to help their immune support. Chicken feed for meat chickens is designed to have higher protein to allow them to grow faster. And then the feed that I use, which is the layer mash, is a chicken feed that's formulated to provide the right amount of protein, the right mix of nutrients, and also additional calcium so that your chickens have the nutrients needed to produce as many eggs as you want them to. This is an essential part of their diet. If you don't feed them chicken feed, you may need to start supplementing additional nutrients into their diet to allow them to stay healthy. Like for calcium, for example, you may have to add oyster shells into their diet to allow them to produce those firm, hard eggs. So that is it as far as the diet of a chicken goes. You pretty much have the main components for what a chicken needs, where they like to live, which chickens to get, where they like to live, and what they like to eat. You're well on your way to running your own chicken farm. Thank you for listening to my speech today. I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed giving it, and have a great day.